everyone, this is Miss Anne, and welcome to another Fairy Tale Fridays. So today we're going to be talking about Little Red Riding Hood, which is, we're going to read an adaptation from the classic fairy tale book, so the basic original version, and then we're going to read an adaptation of it, called Little Red by Bethan Woolman. Now, most fairy tales, even Little Red Riding Hood, they're a little bit violent. They're supposed to teach kids a certain thing. So at the end of this one, I'll kind of go over what the lessons are. And you know, back in the day, this would be something that you would definitely share with kids. But I would say Little Red Riding Hood can be a tinge violent. And I prefer some of the newer adaptations where they kind of make it a little bit fun. So this is called Little Red Riding Hood. This is the original. And here we go. We start with our normal words. Once upon a time, there lived a little country girl born in a village, the prettiest little creature that ever was seen. Her mother was beyond reason excessively fond of her, and her grandmother yet much more. This good woman caused to be made for her a little red riding hood, which made her look so very pretty that everybody called this girl the Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother, having some custard, said to her, "Go, my little Biddy," for that was her Christian name, was Biddy. "Go and see how your grandmother does, for I hear she has been very ill. Carry her this custard and this little pot of butter." The Little Red Riding Hood sets out immediately to go to her grandmother, who lived in another village, and as she was going through the woods, she met with a wolf. And this wolf had a good mind to eat her up, but he didn't, because there were some woodsmen in the woods, and so he doesn't because there's other people around. He asks of her whither she was going. "So where are you going, child?" The poor child, who did not know what a dangerous thing it would be to say and hear a wolf talk, said to him, "Well, I am going to my grandmama, and I'm carrying her a custard and a little pot of butter that my mama sends her." And so the wolf goes, "Does she live far off?" Said the wolf. "Oh, aye," said the Little Red Riding Hood, "on the other side of the mill, below yonder, at the first house in the village." "Well," said the wolf, and off to himself he said, "I'll go and see her too. I'll go this way, and you go that way, and we shall see who is there soonest." Well, the wolf, he began to run as fast as he was able the shortest way, and the girl went the longest, diverting along the way to gather nuts, running after butterflies, and making little crowns out of the flowers in the area. The wolf was not long before he came to the grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" "Well," said the grandmother, "It's your granddaughter, the Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf, counterfeiting her voice, "I have brought you a custard pie and a little pot of butter Mama sends you." The good grandmother, who was in bed because she found herself somewhat ill, cried out, "Oh, pull the bobbin, and the latch will go up." Wolf pulled the bobbin, and the door opened, upon which he fell upon the good woman, and he ate her up in the 10th of a part of a moment, for he had eaten nothing for about 3 days. After that he shut the door and went into the grandmother's bed, expecting the Little Red Riding Hood, who came some time afterward, and he heard the knock. Knock, knock. "Who's there? Little Red Riding Hood?" "Who?" So Little Red, upon hearing the big voice of the wolf, was at first afraid. Oh, but believed her grandmother had got a cold and was grown hoarse, and so she said, "It is your granddaughter, the Little Red Riding Hood, who has brought you a custard pie and a little pot of butter Mama sends you." The wolf cried out to her, softening his voice as much as he could, which wasn't enough, "Oh, pull the bobbin, and the latch will go up." The Little Red Riding Hood pulled the bobbin, and the door opened. The wolf, seeing her come in, said to her, hiding himself under the clothes, "Well, put the custard and the little pot of butter upon the stool, and come over to me." The Little Red Riding Hood went over and went to the bed, where she was very much astonished to see how her grandmother looked in her night clothes. So she said to her, "Oh, Grandmamma, what great eyes you have got!" "Well, it is the better to embrace you with, my child." "Grandmamma, what great legs you have got!" "Well, it is the better to run, my child." Oh, Grandmama, what great ears you have got! It is better to hear you, my child. Grandmama, what great eyes you have got! It is the better to see you with, my child. Grandmama, what great teeth you have got! It is the better to eat you up. And upon these words, the wicked wolf fell upon the Little Red Riding Hood, and he ate her up. So again, a little violent, but these were classic fairy tales to teach kids lessons. So what type of lesson do you think you were supposed to be getting from this? Well, maybe don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strange wolves either. And maybe to be a little curious, right? She does ask a lot of questions, but at no point does she think, this is too odd. Maybe I should go away. Maybe I should go get my mom. So these were little things that, back, when these were written, in the 1800s, these were classic lessons that they wanted kids to know. Of course, things are a little different now. Maybe we don't have to worry about wolves in the forest as much. So, we have our little adaptation. This is called Little Red by Bethan Wolven. And so, thank you again to Peachtree Atlanta for letting us read this story. So, this is a little different. I'm wondering if you guys can pick up the difference. One day, Little Red's mother called to her. Please take some cake to your grandmama, she said. She's not feeling too well. So very similar. Go to see your grandmama who is sick. So Little Red set off on her journey through the forest to Grandmama's house. Before long, she met a wolf. Where are you going? He growled. Which might have scared some little girls, but not this little girl. Well, to my grandmama's, Little Red replied. She's not feeling well. Is that right? Asked the wolf. And he made a plan. Much like our original story, he wants to do what? Yes, he wants to eat the grandma and Little Red. The wolf said goodbye to Little Red, take a shortcut through the trees, and found Grandma's house. There it is in the distance. Which was unlucky for Grandma. He put on her glasses and spare nightdress and climbed into her bed, and there he waited. It wasn't long before Little Red arrived and found that the door to Grandma's house was already open. She peeped in through the window. She couldn't see Grandma, but she could see a badly disguised wolf waiting in Grandma's bed, which might have scared some little girls, but not this little girl. She made a plan and went inside. So this is a little different, right? In the original, the little girl, the Little Red, was very naive. She totally believed that this wolf, in a bad disguise, was her grandma. But this Red doesn't. She knows. Hello, Grandma, Little Red said, though she wasn't fooled for a minute. Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have, she said. Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have, she said. And oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have, she said. Why, yes, my dear, replied the wolf, all the better to eat you with. But look what she has in her hands. And the wolf leaped forward, which might have scared some little girls. But do you think it's going to scare her? She's prepared. But not this little girl. Which was very unlucky for the wolf. So in this one, Little Red, stands her ground and defends herself. Still a little violent, but a different ending. So this is a more modern take on it. And Bethan Wolven has a lot of different ones. There's like one about Rapunzel and Hansel and Gretel as well. So if you like these modern adaptations of the fairy tales, you can check those out. We have them at the library, or you can check this one out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed Little Red Riding Hood. I have seen so many different adaptations of this, so there are quite honestly a million different versions. So you just have to find the one that you like, and that's going to work best for you. Alright, you guys, we'll be back next week with another Fairy Tale Friday, so I hope to see you guys then, and I hope to see you very soon at our library. Bye, everyone!